We're going to move on now to the Rugby Europe Championship and the America's Rugby Championship. Two sort of Tier 2 competitions. Rugby Europe wrapped up at the weekend. Georgia's 5th Grand Slam in 6 years. With a 22-6 victory over Russia in the wet. They just sort of
strangled them.
Russia were going for it. I think someone was saying they had 35,000 at it and they had their plans to beat Georgia. Georgia went back to their scrum and just out-scrummed them and got down into the territory that mattered and scrummed them. It was an ugly game.
Yeah.
And Georgia got a few scrum tries and scrum-de-dum-dum-dum, job done.
Yep. They munched all those teams in that comp.
They
really
did.
And it's a shame that you just question, are they going to be ready?
They got Fiji, they got Australia, they got Wales, they got Uruguay. They just have no preparation for that.
Yeah.
And
they're all teams that play with pace and width.
Yep.
And Georgia don't do.
Well, Georgia just had, but they also just haven't. They're not going to face the team. It's. This is why I'm still quite a bit in favour of some form of World League, because it's important that Georgia play games on their level.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough that the fact is, you're kind of close enough to Europe that you'll just play all these Tier 2 European teams but not in the Six Nations. So you'll just play a bunch of teams that are beneath your level. The teams they need to be playing are Japan and Tonga and Samoa and Fiji.
Yeah.
And then the odd game and Italy, and then the odd game against someone else, someone of a higher level. So again, that 4-team World League would be just a great little thing. Because the other thing is what they're trying to do, or what they had been trying to do before this World League proposal, is just sort of mitigated by giving them a test every November against a Tier 1 team.
Yeah.
Which is not good enough, because you're playing a team at a lower intensity, you haven't got a full camp together, there's nothing at stake, it's essentially a friendly. And it's just, it's never going to be enough for them. They need competitive fixtures against teams at their level, and the best way to do that is to get them into some tournament that involves Japan and Fiji and those teams. And you can dissuade the travel issue by just having the tournament in a place for a number of weeks.
That's a perfect way to get the American market into it as well.
Have in America.
Host it in Texas for 3 days only or whatever.
No, 3 days only. Weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah, everyone's spending the month in Texas, and we're all playing each other on alternate weekends in triple headers, like the old Pacific Rugby Champion, whatever it was, the Pacific Nations Cup. But that's the way to do the lower level World Leagues. But it's an aside, but it's actually quite important for Georgia, because if they go badly this year, which they might not, because they got Milton Hague, smart man, in there. They've got, I think, who's up there? Graham Roundtree. They train with England. They're going to be physical and ready, and they could do.
Their pack will be, as always, an elite.
They
level
could and probably will just be a terrifying experience for Uruguay, having never dealt with forwards like them, and then they probably will be too much for Uruguay, and then maybe they could be too much for Fiji, and then all of a sudden it's game on against one of the other two. But more likely, I think, just given the level that they've had to play at, is that they're going to struggle with Fiji, and they're going to probably lose that game, and then not be able to handle Australia and Wales either. And that's got everything to do with the level that they're playing at. There's a lot of good grassroots there, but there's a lot of support there. It's huge. It's the national game. I tell you, at the stadium in Russia, there's the crowd was cut into just hordes of Georgians again, as it is in every game. They go to Spain, and there's just they must be travelling with the team, a bunch of fans with their Georgian flags. Just
it's wonderful. No, absolutely. We are huge Georgian fans here on this podcast, and it is just, you're right in saying, a constant shame that this tournament, they're just head and shoulders above everyone else, which kind of means there's interesting little melees that go on below them, like the whole Spain and Romania dynamics that are happening are kind of vaguely interesting too.
Both of them got good wins at the weekend.
They did.
Spain doing Germany 33-10
in Germany,
and Romania 43-17 win over Belgium, which could have been a slippery one for them.
But
they've actually shown enough positivity that when they played a team beneath their level, they were happy enough with it
to win it.
But we do have to park our thoughts on them, because they're not in the World Cup, so it's all
about Russia, really. And they showed some positivity throughout the course of the tournament.
They've significantly improved compared to last year. Significantly improved. They were one of the worst teams in it last year. They put it up to everybody this year, including Georgia in the wet. And
they'll be ready for the World Cup.
They'll be bigger and better again come World Cup time.
There'll be a slippery one for potentially Ireland physical. Or Japan or Scotland.
They're probably not going to have enough rugby to them against those teams. But
I think they'll be big and strong and combative.
They got Samoa as well as the other team in that group. That's going to be an interesting game. Russia against Samoa. you'd have to think Samoa will do them. But
Samoa in that group as well.
Yeah. Last qualifier, they beat Germany.
No way.
Remember?
Yeah.
That little playoff.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. Yeah, it was a while ago. But yeah, so Russia making progress as I would expect them to. Like, they're always one for Olympic efforts as well. Like, it seems like now that they're in the World Cup, they're going to just pour a load of resources in that direction and surely see dividends. And slowly but surely they are. They didn't have enough results to register too much of a better showing, but it was much better than years gone by.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'd think with a similar rate of progress and a full camp, they'll be ready
last
for
week,
something.
I tell you what they need is a place kicker, because when they went to Romania and played them,
they missed all their conversions, including one,
and they missed a couple of penalties as well. But they scored 4 tries for a 20-point return, lost the game 22-20, and actually had a conversion in overtime to win it that wasn't difficult.
Yeah,
it was sort of like maybe 10 meters in off the left hand side, and he just blasted it right. Get yourselves a kicker, boys.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
crazy
really
bad.
He should be out after that game, kicking balls for hours. But yeah, that's really inexcusable, to be honest. But so a few problems to be fixed for them. But generally, more positive growth from this tournament, and yeah, I'd say they'll be ready for the World Cup. Like, they're at the right level in this tournament for their slow progression, because they were so it's suiting
actually
them.
Games against Spain and Romania are good little up steps for them and chances to get ready. But that said, the difference in level between those games and what's coming in the World Cup is too great to surmount.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, you would think. So it's like, but it's still interesting. It's still in there. I think will it be their first World Cup?
No.
Have they?
Ireland played them in the World Cup.
That's right. Yeah. No, but it's like they'll definitely be growing all the way there. It's just the shame. The great shame is Georgia. They need those competitive fixtures against teams that are going to paint different pictures and like challenge.
There's a whole little level, a little window in beneath that's at the very top of tier 2 that includes Georgia and a bunch of teams nowhere near Georgia. And World Rugby needs to find a way to facilitate Georgia playing those teams, because this tournament that they're stuck in isn't good enough for them at the moment, and it's just pointless and terrible. And tossing them in the Six Nations wouldn't solve it either. No. They would have the Italy syndrome. Of just being not quite there. They need to be playing those teams that I mentioned: Japan, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, and then the odd game against the tier 1 team.
USA,
Canada,
Uruguay,
USA,
Brazil. They give Brazil a little game. That'd be funny. They'd probably do for them.
Brazil.
Yeah,
they destroy
at
them.
their own game.
Yeah.
Scrummaging, that'd be fun.
They'd have all the tricks, and Brazil would have no answer once their scrum stopped working. Yeah, it would be cruise control for Georgia.
Yes, it would. Yeah, but it would still be an interesting picture that I wouldn't mind seeing.
No, I know.
But this is why you're making a point about. We made it before on a previous podcast. We're just going to elaborate for clarity that the Nations League or Nations Championship that they're proposing. It's a good idea fundamentally. The layout they have for it now with 12 teams is pointless. It should be 4 teams. Keep the current window as is in November,
and keep the current window of the Six Nations and even this poxy Rugby Europe with Georgia in it. Keep all of that as is in terms of just satisfying and facilitating what's going on now. Keep the June tours, because they're great, great fun, and great for the money in the Southern Hemisphere teams as well. The June tours do them well. It's always good when the Irish come to town for 3 games and they fill your stadiums and
your
buy
bars,
your beer, and your TV figures with Sky Sports having the rights and everything else. And then in November, that window that is it's not friendly games when you have a game there's definitely a thing with test matches, and that's true. Like the Ireland New Zealand game couldn't be described as a friendly by anybody who knows the game at all.
Exactly.
But the Ireland USA game very could.
Or the Ireland Argentina game that was a bit meh as well,
because nobody really it didn't really matter.
No.
And so that window needs to be fixed. It would be best fixed with a little World League with 4 teams per league. Everybody plays everybody. Winner goes up, or maybe there's a final there. I
wouldn't like the idea of a final.
What if it's a draw then at the top of the league?
Share it.
You can't share a promotion.
Points difference.
Okay. Yeah. No. Fair enough. Yeah. Just 3 games, and then the winning
3
team
or 4. Well, no. 4 teams for
4 teams,
3 games. Perfect. And then if that,
then it leaves you the window to arrange another game.
Yeah, you could do a final then or whatever, or a playoff or thing if there's that other window, because it doesn't take up too much. Like the players' complaints about adding extra games are valid. Like there's already the seasons are stretched thin enough as it is, and they like the star players are going to be want to be there for generating revenues as well, so there's going to be pressure on them to play, and then pressure from the clubs to pull them back, and it's all like there's no need for it. But it would also add interesting dynamics where it's like, as the current, if it was the current thing, that then Division 1 of it would be New Zealand, Ireland, Wales, and England.
That's New Zealand, Wales, Ireland, England to you.
Yes, sorry, yeah, that's right. Oh,
yeah.
So New Zealand, Wales, Ireland, England.
Yep.
Which
would leave South Africa, but like, and then if you were to mock it on what's happened, you'd have Ireland go down, probably South Africa coming up.
Yeah.
But that'd be like an interesting dynamic in itself. Yeah. The top tier are at such a high bar, they don't want to go down to the second tier. Then there's all of a sudden that juicy third league, which would be so great if for whoever gets in it from beneath, and so sort of harrowing for the likes of Scotland or France if they fall into it,
or Argentina,
or whoever it is, and. That would be a league.
It would light a fire under teams like Argentina, who tend to show nothing in autumn as well. Like, they literally don't even bother showing up. It's a very different Argentina than you would see at the World Cup. Yeah. So like, it would do a lot to change that.
There's 9 in Tier 1 to my money. There's 9 teams in Tier 1. There's the top 5 of the Six Nations, and there's the Rugby Championship teams. Yeah. That's 9. That's Tier 1. Yeah. In my head. And then Tier 2 is just beneath that. But you have 8. Your 8 is going to be your probably your first your first 2 divisions, and then you're going to have one of those teams left out, and they're going to be battling it out with Japan and Fiji and Georgia more than likely. Yeah, and that's romping it
more than likely, but also potentially getting
also
caught.
Shipping some tries against Japan and Fiji. Are you kidding me? Like, if that's France in there, there's danger all over
for sure.
Their scrum will be taken away by the Georgians. The Fijians will be bagging tries against them.
It's a great concept. I love the idea.
I think it's just a much better concept that's much more likely to be accepted and would work for a team like Georgia, who at the moment. And at the point about the 12-team league then is that you have your Tier 1 9 teams, you have 3 lucky Tier 2 teams, and then everyone else is just in the second division, which is no good to them. It's basically where they are now. Yeah. Like, it'd be like, so let's say the teams that make it in to the 12 in the World League, well, they have Italy in automatically, so that's 10. So then they have 2 more, which are Fiji and Japan. Yeah. Which means Georgia are back right where they don't want to be, playing a bunch of games against your Romanias and your, I don't know who they'll be playing, like you'll be playing them. Yeah, Romanias and Spains and all the rest. Yeah. And it's just hindering what they're developing, and in fact it takes away the November window where they actually do get to play a Tier 1 team from them, so it's just very negative.
Indeed. So whereas the proposed solution of the 4 teams per league is excellent, because it gives you a chance to put on some spectacles in random places. You can put them in America, you can put them on in like Japan. You can have them host like 3 or 4 teams for 3 weeks and have them play a bunch of games. Be great. And it also means, like, you're talking about getting USA involved. The way to do that is not to chuck them into the deep end with a bunch of sharks and have them get hammered every week.
Well, actually, by the new proposal, they would be in the Tier 2
Would they?
Yes, because by the new proposal, it's done by World Rankings. It's just 12 teams. USA are in the top 12. Okay. Except it's not just the top 12, because Italy get in. Yeah. Because they're a Six Nations team.
Ring fencing.
Part of the club.
Yeah. And well, that's a problem. That needs to the club mindset. That part of the club ring fencing around what's there. Like, you don't need to change what's there to actually develop this and push this, and it would be a good development, I think. Anyway,
in the Americas Rugby Championship, the Uruguay did. This was actually last week, but we missed it because we had our sort of confined Six Nations show last week. Uruguay did for Brazil 42-20, which is about right. Yeah. Brazil getting something off, and Brazil did get their scrum in a bit of order, but Uruguay are actually looking classy.
Ballers. Yeah.
I tell you what, Uruguay have improved since the last World Cup, where they just got in out of nowhere. Yeah. They have improved leaps and bounds, and they play ball.
Yeah, they look like a little mini Argentina.
That is the Tier 2 pool of death if ever there was one. Yeah. Fiji as 4th seeds in madness. Yeah. Georgia as 3rd seeds, as good as you can get. And Uruguay as bottom seeds, you kidding me? Now they can play a serious ball. Yeah. And like, as much as the group of death is probably your one with your Tier 3 your 3 Tier 1 teams with France and England and Argentina, your actual pool of death from a Tier 2 perspective is definitely that one. And it means that there's probably much less likely to be hammerings in that pool,
which is great. I would love to see fewer hammerings. There were fewer hammerings at the last World Cup than the one previous, and I would hope that gap is
I think so
closed again.
But Uruguay looking very good. Extremely positive tournament for them. They play a lot like Argentina. It's very much counter-attack. It's very much speed. It's very much flow. Their hands are great. Their speed is
their
great.
sport lines are good.
Yeah, and it's all about just finding tries. Probably a little bit lacking in those physical exchanges, and
they'll probably let them down in games to come.
Yeah,
and has already, like our Argentina 15 did for them, didn't they?
Yes, yeah.
And Argentina 15, by the way, put poor Chile to the sword. 85-10.
Yeah.
What?
Some of those Argentina 15 boys into the Jaguares.
Yeah, why are they?
They're absolutely. I mean, I know it's tier 2, but they are carving it up right now.
Absolutely curb
You
stomping.
can't think that even the Argentina test team could do, like, you can't do worse than an 85-10 victory away in Chile.
It's very, very hard to replicate anything that.
Yeah.
Well, exceeding the points per minute total is a very impressive showing. Poor Chile though, like
they're not there yet.
Several levels below.
Yeah. They're happy enough in that comp. They'll have some successes.
There's definitely room for development. It's less of a damaging comp, like, because Argentina 15, as much as being slightly above the rest, they don't really have that much to play for. They're not really an entity. They're not going to exist elsewhere. So it's a good challenge for those teams to have a team like an Argentina 15 in there.
I prefer
so that they get, like, it means that teams like Uruguay, while making progress, can see a team like Argentina and see the picture of them getting shut down a bit and being outclassed and being like, oh, cool, we still have a ways to go.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It's cracking. It's perfect for Argentina and where they are, in the sense that their calendar, a lot of those boys who are playing for them probably aren't playing for the pro clubs who have something to do. So it's less feasible in Europe to get like an England Saxons or something like that into that Rugby Europe Championship.
Yeah.
But it would add huge value to it, just to show it. Just lets them know that there's a level above where they are, where they're all playing each other. It reminds them of that reality. And that said, the US got scared by Canada. Won it with a try in the last play.
Wow. 30 points to 25, close one, tight one.
Been an awkward old tournament for the US after last year's success.
Yeah, it was a bit of a deflating one. I remember the game against Argentina 15 the one against Uruguay that they lost in Texas was that was
a cracking game of rugby.
Great game of footy, but it was a bit disheartening for the diehards who were there to support their team. Want to see some Eagles score some tries, but
he saw some. Mike Teo and Joe Taufete'e, they have proper potential,
elite
like
players.
Certainly belong in pro rugby.
Yeah, for sure.
Joe Taufete'e, by the way, after overtaking Keith Wood, another two tries
against Canada. The boy can't stop scoring.
Yeah,
it's
he's
amazing.
insane. he is insane.
Yeah.
And so that's a positive. I actually backed them to reset, get a good World Cup camp together.
I think so. They're a danger because they're a big side anyway, so they can be stifling. But like you've seen with the Sevens, just how much professionalism and actual focus can do for them in terms of progress, because they have a surplus to requirement amount of athletes just circulating around that country, where it's like they're all training for years to get into the NFL. The vast majority of them don't, and then it's like we have a load of elite athletes left over who aren't in the NFL, and rugby seems like a perfect way to try and draft some of them in.
Certainly, I think a lot of that is going on at the moment. They have that little manufactured Major League Rugby, which is producing some good tries. A lot of Irish rejects in there, tearing it up, in fact.
Yeah,
but that's definitely a good base for them. But in terms of this tournament, they actually have enough talent that they can pull something together ahead of the World Cup
for sure. Yeah,
and
it's probably 4 years too soon for them as far as aspirations of escaping their pool,
especially with England, France, and Argentina.
Exactly. Yeah. It just doesn't match up well. But in 4 years' time, I'd be thinking if the rate of progress continues. And they'd be a dark horse, and if World Rugby's plans are to come to fruition, then hopefully they'll be up near the level where they'll be competing and hopefully trying to escape their pool, which will be the next level.
And that's the thing we're all looking forward to, is tier 2 sides going to a World Cup with aspirations of quarterfinals.
Yes,
we saw that with Japan last year. They just missed out after beating South Africa. They got beaten by Scotland and didn't get enough bonus points then. But Eddie Jones wanted them to get out of the pool and was disappointed that they didn't, and you're going to see just a little more of that creeping in.
Yeah,
you would see that from Georgia and Fiji, where they're not in their same pool, having to duke it out with each other, which makes things a lot more complicated. But that pool is going to be great viewing. From Brazil's perspective, very positive. great scrum. They seem to have an identity that they can build around.
For sure.
Like Romania and Spain, they're not in the World Cup, so we kind of have to put them to one side until after that tournament. We're not going to see much of them from now until next year.
Yeah.
But they're in a definite
it's a curious picture to see those yellow jerseys scrumming so monstrously. It's like, that's nice. I like seeing that kind of picture. It's gross. And this is all the more reason for them to be in a little pool of their own, playing against teams at their level. It could be Samoa. They probably would be beaten by Samoa, but
Samoa themselves have had their issues. So
more so than Fiji
or Tonga.
Or Tonga, but like a few nice little matchups like that. I'd be curious to see them play Romania or Spain as well if the opportunity arose. Like that's what
the World League should be about. And listen, that's something that would happen if you saw what they're arranging now happening. But the problem is that with their 12 teams, well, we've mentioned it already in this vid, but the problem is with the 12 teams thing, there's actually still such diversity of quality within that 12 teams that it should be 3 divisions in itself.
Indeed, and it makes more sense from a logistical point of view as well. But like it was an interesting tournament, to be honest. There were some great tries, and each team plays very differently, which means that the games kind of match up very nicely.
Yep.
It's probably a poor one from Canada, definitely, who actually are aspiring to...
It's good of them to put it up to the US. They do have a World Cup pool coming up, but it's long-term rebuilding for them. Things have just gone south.
Compared to some of that great team. Like, who's still on it? Like, have they... Obviously, your man's retired, that second row.
Cudmore, yeah.
And... Is Van der Merwe still playing for them even?
I think he is, but
he's frozen out there on the wing, looking impotent.
It's just it's been negative times for them, and they'll.
It's unfortunate because they have a pretty great of all the tier 2 teams. They're one with more kind of rugby history than most of them.
TSN have covered it for a long while.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it feels like a bit of a funk, though. Hopefully they'll rediscover some form. I don't believe they're going anywhere as far as like an actual decline. It's not like I'm fearing for Romania. I kind of am fearing a bit more for Romania, just even looking at attendances and stuff. And
but they had a good year this year, Romania.
They did improve.
Defiant would be the word.
Defiant is a good
word.
Some
defeats, but
they were brave. They weren't quitting anyway. Which is like, there wasn't a bit of quitting them. Which is good. But like, I'm fearful for Canada's chances going forward.
And listen, that's international rugby wrapped up.
There was a lot of it
until the Rugby Championship. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you want to subscribe, there should be a button up here. Don't forget to give us a like and share with your friends. And please leave comments down below. We love the conversation. Thanks.